obscur dans les hauts pins tu trouveras sans elle. Clair obscur, trouble de rature, courbera les fleurs. Clair obscur dans les hauts pins tu trouveras sans elle.
It's Wednesday, and I have clinical depression from streaming. Nothing wants to work anymore. I think I finally got it sorted out after, well, 2.5 days of trying. It appears we might actually be live. It's essentially what I did. That's essentially what I did, is torch everything, my entire setup, and start over. Is essentially what I had to do. I still don't even know what was wrong. I had to factory reset every piece of streaming equipment that I use, and, well, I guess it worked because we're here. Hello, by the way. I'm in grand spirits from all this, but I will try to maintain a positive and motivational streaming atmosphere. We'll see what happens, though. We're live. Things are well outside of the streaming nonsense. I am incredibly sore today. I pushed myself at the gym yesterday more than I have in a very, very long time. More than I have in a very, very, very long time. I did arms across the board yesterday. I did legs to a small degree. I actually did resistance training on my legs, my knees, my thighs. I did some elliptical. Did a whole bunch of new stuff because I'm sick of being stuck doing goddamn child's play workouts. It's driving me insane, so I pushed myself to do it. I made it through. I'm very sore today. Very, very sore today. But feeling okay. Due to that, I am up. It's Wednesday, and I'm up 7 pounds from last week's weigh-in right now. I'm assuming massive inflammation from the amount of gym I did yesterday. I don't know. I'm very concerned about Friday's weigh-in. I am in the midst of a fast. I'm gaining during a fast, which is actually horrifying. So I don't know what's going on there. Potential for a very bad weigh-in this week. I'm having a day. I am having a day, but let's find something to watch here, because my goodness, dude, I don't know right now. I just don't know. Let's see what Carrie's got going on. Carrie's got something about an H2O crisis. Let's see what's going on here. Triple B's today. It does appear we got the triple B's going on. Soreness means growth, maybe inflammation along the way. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. I'm not like getting shook up about it. I'm just saying there is potential to, after a 72-hour fast this week, actually gain weight on my weigh-in, which is kind of horrifying. Because I don't know if anyone's been watching me and Josh's collabs we've been doing. We are actually working on a team fast right now called Project 399, trying to get my big butt into the 300s, and based off my scale reading this morning, I don't think there is any possible way that's going to happen. Again, fasting into a benchmark like that is kind of up in the air in and among itself, just because what are you really gaining if you can't maintain it into the next week? It's yay numbers. Yeah, like I said, it's not a big thing if I don't get it this week. I just don't want to gain, man. I just do not want to gain this week. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Again, we made it through a very, very good workout yesterday. I'm super, super happy about that. And yeah, I mean, where do we go from here? I'm going to attempt tomorrow to do more of a shoulder and chest workout. I'm gonna push myself. I'm gonna push myself. If something's feeling like it's gonna pop or I'm gonna get really hurt or something, I'm not gonna push the boundaries of that. But I'm sick of not working out. I'm sick of not doing stuff that's gaining muscle mass. Any more treadmill? Nah, I don't like the treadmill. The treadmill makes my knees hurt really, really bad. I would rather, anytime I was going to do the treadmill, honestly, I'd rather just swim. But that's what I did yesterday. You know what? I didn't even document my gym session yesterday in my notes. I did a lot. I did, in the back of the room, they have hydraulic machines. No actual weights on them. They're just hydraulic resistance. And I set a comfortable yet strenuous resistance for myself, and I did 100 reps on like 8 different arm machines, and then I had one leg machine, the one where you put the cap over your under your legs and you pull it down. Again, I'm not a gym head. I don't know what any machines in the gym are actually called. Luckily, my gym has labels on them just showing, okay, this is the muscle group, this works, and here's how the resistance work, and I just kind of go with it. But as far as describing the actual machinery, I'm kind of out of the loop. I did elliptical. I did the arm bike. I've been doing the arm bike a lot, the one where you just put resistance on. It's just a bicycle for your arms. I have been doing that a lot. My physical therapist highly, highly recommends that. Actually, most of my physical therapy sessions for my shoulders, that's how we start the workout off, is the arm bike. So I have been adding a lot of that in, but I did the arm bike. I did at least 8 machines at 100 reps for arm workouts, bicep, tricep, forearm, some light shoulder stuff. I did not medicine ball. What's the name of the balls? It's the heavier balls, like the 5 to 10 pound balls. You bounce them off the trampoline. That's another thing my physical therapist has highly recommended. You ever try to strengthen non-knee muscles like calf machine? I'm starting to do more and more. I do need to be really, really slow with my knees. Upper body, I'm willing to push things a little bit, where you basically just do your foot. I'm not sure. I don't know what machine does that. I'll have to figure it out. Like I said, I'm in the stage of the gym where I'm trying to figure out what the machines do. I don't really have much in the way of guidance there. I do have a physical trainer that I could call. I haven't seen her in like a year. I probably could call her because I am due for an appointment with her, but she wants me to do all this stuff that I'm not really capable of doing, and it's kind of this awkward interaction every time. So I'm opting just to learn all this stuff on my own. I've been avoiding the machines because pain levels and inflammation and stuff, but I'm to the point where I'm ready to push things because I want muscle mass back. I don't want to lose more muscle mass. I do want to work on, especially my arms, biceps, tricep, forearms, because that's where the worst of the loose skin is starting. So it's going to help no matter what. It's going to help no matter what, me doing that. So I'm going to work on arms, upper body, chest, back, all that stuff as much as I can. But yeah, as far as like calf machine, stuff like that, I'm going to have to figure out what they are, where they are, how to use them. And each thing with my legs, and the other thing is I can only really do that on days my wife is with me, because if she's got to be standing right there, because if something goes bad on a machine and something's going to pull a knee in a direction that I'm unprepared for with resistance on it and bend my knee a way it doesn't want to bend, then we're going to have a serious problem. So I'm only doing knee stuff when I have wifey there, so we can kind of team these machines just in case something goes wrong, some resistance goes bad, something like that, and I don't like tear out a meniscus in my knee or something. But I'm gonna keep pushing. I don't know what else to do at this point. I have to keep locking in and going with the machines. Still doing resistance. I did resistance bands yesterday. I did, trying to think, There's this thing I did with a weight bar. It's like a bottom goes into a pivot point, and you just up and down it and stuff like that. I did some of that. Again, I couldn't name a single piece of equipment or basically any form of exercise in the gym. This is all still so new to me. That being said, I did a lot. I did a lot the other day. I did a lot. I'm very sore. I'm assuming massively inflamed is why I'm retaining weight right now and not losing weight on a fast, which to me is insane. I've never gained on a fast before, so that's essentially got to be what's going on. But let's take a look at Carrie's video here about, well, H2O, it appears. See what's going on with the H2O.
And here is what they are not telling you.
A new study finds that nearly half of the nation's drinking water contains potentially harmful forever chemicals.
These forever chemicals are linked to health.
Let's be completely fair, though. At this point in life and human advancement, I mean, what isn't just pumped full of forever chemicals and microplastics and all that fun stuff? It really doesn't matter what you do, I think, but I digress.
Like cancer.
Let's carry on.
Although they can't be seen by the human eye, PFAS chemicals are in the drinking water of 46% of U.S. households.
Would you drink that?
Sounds intense.
This blade
yeah.
of grass, this single blade represents every human being alive today who is drinking water that is compromised, filtered, fluoridated, and stripped of the minerals your body desperately needs. This entire football field in front of me represents every generation before us, drinking clean, pristine, mineral-rich water straight from the earth, the way nature intended.
Carrie with the
We
drone
live in the
footage.
most technologically advanced era in human history. We have smartphones, AI, space travel, and yet our water, one of the simplest things there should be.
Carrie's
Our water
getting
has
advanced. We
never
got
been more
drones on the scene,
contaminated.
boys.
Microplastics, forever chemicals, fluoride, heavy metals, pharmaceutical runoff. It's all in there, and most people have
See, this sucks for people who live in cities and stuff. However, I'm going to drop a bit of a flex here. As I live in the middle of the woods, I have my own 300-foot well. I get my own water right out of the ground, baby. Comes up, charcoal filtered. We are installing, we don't have a UV filter yet. We are going to get a UV filter here in the near future, just to clean it a little bit more. But every couple of years we test our well water, and it's beautiful. It's some of the cleanest water you could ask for. It's got nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong whatsoever.
absolutely no idea. Now, before you click away, this video isn't all gloom and doom. I'm still drinking my water. I'm going to show you what you need to do to be safe with your water and to have your water supply for your family be safe as well. Why is water so important? Well,
What do y'all prefer? Y'all prefer ice cold water, or do you prefer room temperature water? I know it's different strokes for a lot of folks when it comes to the hydration end of things, but I'm actually really curious on that one. Very, very curious on that one. What you guys prefer?
A while ago about salt and why salt was critically important to me as a carnivore, and the reason
I've been doing lately not ice cold, but very, very cold. Sometimes room temp is nice though. I don't know. I like water in all of its forms.
simply
to be
is
completely
because
honest.
it's a big part of my diet. I eat eggs for breakfast, I have salt. I eat hamburger patties for lunch, I have salt. I eat chuck roast for dinner, I have salt. Salt, salt, salt. And throughout the rest of my life, I'm going to consume an incredible amount of salt.
You and
In
me
the
both,
same
brother.
way, but even more significantly, water. I need water to survive. I drink water every single day. And so my water is critically important. And when you think about it, I'm eating a proper human diet now. Before carnivore, I consumed all types of liquid. Soda, Diet Coke from McDonald's, apple juice, orange juice, energy drinks, hot chocolate, tea.
Is that an AI? Why do I always do this, dude?
I drink water human diet now. Before liquid, soda, Diet Coke from
I'm
McDonald's.
so bad at clicking
apple
on that
juice,
line and
orange
skipping through
juice,
90%.
Energy drinks, hot chocolate, tea.
All right, what I wanted to say, it's the same way he demonstrates when farming started. Farming caused our water to become foul. Can we talk about the big gulp of 5-hour power? The literal big gulp, that's like a 16-ounce can of 5-hour power. They're the ones that come in those little shots because they have so much caffeine. AI did it dirty on this one, man.
Like, think of all of the liquids we consume. And now I only consume water. And for the rest of my life, I will only consume water. So it's critically important that this water isn't compromised and that this is as clean as it can possibly be.
Do we have any guesses if this whole thing's going to turn into an ad for this machine right here?
And the good news is, it doesn't have to be that difficult. Before we talk more about the water, I gotta share this hilarious skit with you from Louis C.K. because it makes me think about water. In this skit, Louis C.K. says, "What did you do?" We'll just show you the skit.
If you believe that God gave you the earth, that God created the earth for you, why would you not have to look after it? Why would you not think that when he came back, he wouldn't go, "What did you do? The polar bears are brown. What did you do to the polar bears? Who spilled this? Come over. Did you spill this? What is that?" "It's oil. It's just some oil. I didn't mean to spill." "Well, why did you take it out of the ground?" "Because I wanted to go faster. I gave you everything you needed for money." "What do you need money for?" "Food." "Just eat on the floor. I left over the floor. I gotta make some bread. What are you doing?" "Yeah, but it doesn't have like bacon around it and like."
I just think that's hilarious how he presented that. Like, what did you do? What did you do? Imagine what God would say when he saw what we did to our water. What did you do?
Louis C.K. made that comedy skit and then he did what he did.
Do to our water. Literally, the simplest thing on earth. Humans have managed to screw up. How could we screw this up? Since the start of time, humans have been drinking clear, clean, pristine water, and it's only this little sliver of time, this generation or so, that it's completely compromised. It's filled with forever chemicals, and it's filled with microplastics, and there's all sorts of devoid
Good luck with the microplastics. The
minerals that
microplastics
the
are
human body
everywhere.
needs. It is crazy.
Our bodies are already
What
pumped
did
full
we
of that
do
shit.
to our water? Okay, so the biggest problem we have with water nowadays is it's completely devoid of the minerals that we need. That's kind of a low-level problem, but the water is all filtered and fluoridated, and what they do at a sewage treatment.
When you live in a major city, you have a sewage treatment plant.
The old shit
And what
plant.
happens from that? All of your sewage from your toilet, water from your kitchen sink, water from your bathroom, water from your washing machine, all of that, including water and waste from huge factories, they all go
AI
to
data
these
centers.
sewage treatment plants. So you may be wondering, how do these forever chemicals end up in the sewage treatment plant in the first place? They end up in there because take your non-stick pan that you're cooking your breakfast on and you put it in the sink and you're scraping your spatula on there, you're scraping off microscopic particles of forever chemicals that then trickle down into your sink, they go down the drain and they go to the sewage treatment plant. Then let's say you eat microwave popcorn, right? You microwave the popcorn in a bag. That bag is riddled with forever chemicals. You then take that bag of popcorn, put it in a bowl, you eat the popcorn, you wash the bowl out in the sink, and now you have forever chemicals going down the sink again. That's just
Perhaps cooking in these pans and eating that popcorn in the first place might also be a problem. Perhaps. Perhaps.
just your kitchen. You go in the bathroom, you take a shower before you go to work, and what do? You put shampoo in your hair. That shampoo is full of, I'm sorry, there's forever chemicals in most of the shampoos. Your body wash, your soap, then you put your makeup on, that is also full of forever chemicals. End of the day, you wash your face, you take a shower, you take a bath, that water goes down the drain, it goes to the sewage treatment plant, there's more forever chemicals in it. Now let's talk about your washing machine. You put your jeans, your all sorts of different materials we have now for different fabrics, many of which have forever chemicals in them. And oftentimes your detergent also has forever chemicals in it. And all of that, where does it go? It goes in your washing machine and then it goes down the drain and it goes to the sewage treatment
Do
plant.
they reuse? I'm curious, do they reuse from the water treatment plants for sewage production, all that stuff? They don't reuse that for like actual
Where these
potable
forever chemicals
water,
are coming
do they?
from. Imagine now millions and millions of households, all with all of that going down their drain, all going collectively.
See, the video that was explaining microplastics might not be as bad as reported because the technician's gloves probably skewed the result. I have not. Strict down blah 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 blah. Most sewage plants do not produce potable water directly. That's what I thought. There's no way a sewage treatment plant's going to produce potable water. Ever had your water tested? Yeah, we've had ours tested numerous times. We generally do a water test at our place like once every 5 years. Once every 5 years or so. I think the last time we did one was actually we were forced to do one when we rented the house we live in. We rented for several years, then we ended up buying off the previous owners that we rented from. Part of the sale of the house of health. Don Schlanger, hello, how are you? Part of the contingency of the sale of our house to us was that water tests needed to be done and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah, I think the last time we did it was 2022. So probably next year we're coming up on another one. I got a 14-foot shallow sand well. That's very shallow, very, very shallow. Ours is, I don't know the exact depth of ours. I know it's over 300 feet though. We are over 300 feet down on our well. One thing we do want to add is for around $1,000, you can buy a UV light filter, which will literally make it any possible thing that's left in it, even though it's already tested super, super clean. That UV filter will help clean up any remaining stuff or bacteria or anything like that. Also, we do shock our well to prevent bacteria overgrowth. Again, this is right around every 5 years or so. You can just buy bleach tablets for a while. We'll take a big old bleach tablet, we'll drop it right down the hole. We'll pull the pump up. All you gotta do is pull the actual pump up out of the hole, which takes forever because it's so deep. But you pull the pump out, you drop a bleach tablet in, and it's called shocking your well. It'll just clear out all the bacteria that could possibly be down there. Nukes the whole thing, and then all we do is just let our raw water run for like, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours. We'll just open up like all the faucets in the house and just let everything drain out and process through the system, and it kind of cleans itself right out, and everything's good to go from there. The bottle he has, they have a dollar store now. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Dude, like the glass bottle's so appealing. That glass bottle's so appealing, and it looks like the water out of it would be nice and tasty, but I have jugs that keep my stuff nice and cool for me. I don't know why I would trade it in for that. 5 hour energy? Oh, hell no. That's 5 hour power, baby. 5 hour power.
To the sewage treatment plant. It really adds up. It adds up over time. And then what's compounded and maybe even worse is these large industries.
5 hour power.
That output water to the sewage treatment plants that's just filled and riddled with forever chemicals.
I highly recommend you watch the film Dark Waters if you're not familiar with the danger of forever chemicals. But I love movies, and from time to time you see these zombie movies and you're like, these are so unrealistic. I could imagine a scenario in the real world where we have a zombie-like movie happening in real life.
Copyright in 3, 2, 1. Oh boy.
They're literally deforming people. Children's teeth are turning black. People are getting cancer. Animals are dying.
No, boy. More copyrights. What are we going to do?
Issue,
what are we going to do?
It's coming through in our water. But
I'm not stressing copyrights anymore. I mean, who
talk about
cares,
this, is
honestly.
microplastics. Humans consume a credit card size worth of plastic every single week. That is going into your body. And most of it, where is it coming from? Our water. Why? Because we have microplastics in our plumbing that can come through and get into our water. We have microplastics downstream. One of the best things I learned from Dr. Ken Berry.
Another great way to combat this is to buy reverse osmosis filter. And all the water that you drink and cook with needs to go through the RO filter. We have one in our house. We don't drink any water that did not come from the reverse osmosis. We don't use any water to cook with that didn't come from there.
Now, this isn't just me trying to sell you on a reverse osmosis system. If you can find a natural spring nearby, or if you live out in the country and you have well water, you could maybe have your well water tested.
I did.
Oftentimes out in the country, you have very deep wells. If you live in a sandy area, that water flows down through the sand and through the minerals, and it can be quite clean without the need for a reverse osmosis. But if you're living in the city or you're living somewhere with a sewage treatment plant providing water to you, that may be something you want to look into more. This is our
it's just
reverse
sad. I
osmosis.
mean, I don't think sewage treatment plants, again, are pumping water straight back in for potable water. Most sewage wastewater treatment plants do not produce potable water directly. They clean wastewater to a level safe for discharge into rivers, lakes, or oceans. Okay, so I can get back into the system that way. Irrigation, industry, environmental flow. The output effluent is much cleaner than raw sewage, but usually requires additional purification before it's considered potable. Potable water reuse systems, including common water-stressed areas. Advanced treatment turns wastewater into drinking water. Indirect potable reuse. Treated wastewater is discharged in a natural buffer, reservoir, aquifer, river, then withdrawn and treated again at a drinking water plant. It's kind of fucking gross, dude. That's kind of gross, dude. I don't like that, man. This is why I live in the middle of the woods, man. I swear every day, especially the older I get, there's just a new reason every day why I value living in the middle of nowhere, peace be around me, my own water, all this stuff, nothing to worry about. Like, dude, I just can't do it. I honestly don't think I could ever go back to living in a city again. I truly don't. I really, really don't think
Today's video is proudly brought to you by Synpure, and we're going to be showing you the Y11 series reverse osmosis 6-stage, cools the water down. I love this thing. And the cool thing with this is, look.
It's more washing how hands after you've worked on your car. It's more washing how hands? How hands after you have worked on your car? I'm not going to lie, Bucky, I don't understand that sentence. It could just be me.
There.
It could just be me.
Cold water.
Again, I am having a day right now.
Fills the cup up.
Washing
Super
clothes
simple.
and
You
car
can fill your
oils
water
on them.
bottles
Ooh.
up. You can fill your cup up. Let's pause there.
Well, one benefit there is I no longer work on my own vehicles. I know it's so much more cost effective and everything else. I'm just going to say it. I hate working on cars, dude. I can't stand working on cars, honestly, anymore. I have a very, very, very good local mechanic for smaller stuff. And then anything that major that happens, I have warranties on everything. I just take it to the actual dealership anymore.
This water is chilled. It's nice and cold. And it's just delicious. The other thing that's cool is this. You can pour even quicker. Besides this countertop unit, you know, they have portable units. These things are really cool. It's summertime here in Wisconsin, and we are doing a ton of kayaking, a ton of hiking, and so
I could never kayak in a shallow stream like that because I would literally just bottom the kayak out and be sitting on the rocks the entire time. I'm not even making that up. Although, I will say, this is a major goal that I don't talk about often. Let's talk non-scale victories for a second here. My wife loves to kayak. It's one of her favorite things in the world. It brings her peace and serenity, and I wish I could take her kayaking every day. I can't fit in a goddamn kayak. It's something I'm working towards. That's a big goal. Big goal I'd really like to achieve down the road because my big ass still can't fit in a kayak. I'm probably going to have to get one of the flat top ones even when I get down to go away. But as far as like getting in and out of one and balancing and stuff, like, dude, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do that, to be completely honest with you. But I want to get to the point in one form or another where I can go out and go kayaking with the wife. I really, really do. That is one of my ultimate goals right now. But I think that's a long way away. That's a long way away. That's going to be once the first number starts with a 2, not a 4. And we got a lot of the 3s in between those things to get through, although I'm getting excited to be in the 3s. However, I, again, do not feel that's going to be this week after the scale this morning. Google says that stearic acid from gloves do cause false positive for plastics and that we actually swallow about 4.1 micrograms a week or the size of a grain of salt. Yeah. Yep, there are microplastics in my sack. I know that for sure. I mean, it's just they're finding them everywhere now. I'm sure the results can be skewed, but it does seem to be a very massive issue.
So I have this water bottle I bring with me. Just took it out to the lake. I can fill that thing up with lake water and filter out all the impurities and have a nice, clean, crisp bottle of water. They also have this water straw that you can use in like emergency situations. It's great to throw in your camping gear if you do a lot of camping or hiking. That's what's cool about this. This is a 6-stage reverse osmosis system. This unit will remove 99.9% of contaminants. PFA.
Let's take a look at what one of these runs, huh? Water Drop X12. Did he say what model it was? 11 stage reverse. 317. Yeah, you're looking $200-300 for one of these things. $200-300 for one of these things. Very pricey. Very, very pricey.
Yes, lead, mercury, arsenic, fluoride, chlorine, and
arsenic's where the flavor comes from, though, isn't it? I could be wrong about that. I could potentially be wrong about that. I'm not 100% sure. Not 100% sure, but
nitrates.
It could be.
Now, you may be saying, that's great, but those units are so expensive. My tap water's free. I would argue your tap water is not free if it's contaminated, and it's a slow poison. The way I like to look at this is, what would the alternative be? If my water out of my sink is compromised, the alternative would be bottled water. Now, I have a family of 6. A family of 6, if you think about cooking and drinking, would go through about 18 bottles of water a day. That's 6,500 bottles a year. If you went to the...
Shit. I go through a lot of water a day. I'm a gallon to a gallon and a half, man.
Cheapest store, that would be about $1,000 a year for all of those bottled waters. And that's just 1 year. I could have this unit for many, many years, and it doesn't cost anywhere near $1,000. If you go to, say, a convenience store or a gas station, and you're in a hurry, and you're thirsty, and you want to grab a bottle of water, it is not unusual to be spending
arsenic does make your face look younger. There you go.
Gallon.
There's always a benefit.
That's right.
There's always a benefit.
You buy from a convenience store, you're often paying more dollars.
Probably not
per
ideally
than
the
you
best
would
benefit
gas.
you want.
What is gas right now? $4 or $5 a gallon, and everyone's flipping out about that. And then they go into the gas station, they get a bottle of water at a premium price, and they end up paying sometimes $8, $9, $12 a gallon for that convenience. I don't do that.
Where is it? $12 a gallon for a bottle of water.
The thing with reverse osmosis that was a problem in the past was,
I gotta ask on that one. Where the hell is a gallon of water $12? I've never remotely ever seen anything like that. Then gallons of water where I live are still like 89 cents.
It is so good at removing everything. 99.9% of what was in that water is removed that oftentimes you lose the minerals, the important minerals that we're supposed to have in our water. Not with this unit. This has a 6-stage filtration system, and one of the last stages is actually a remineralization. It adds the minerals back that should have been in the water in the first place. My suggestion,
kind of cool.
get a countertop
I'm
reverse
not bashing
osmosis
it.
system.
I'm not bashing this at all. I think
will
this
leave
is
a link in the description
Fuji.
below.
It could be. It could be.
Purchase one of these. Full disclosure.
It could be. See, I'm not a fancy water drinker. It's rare. Actually, funnily enough, the only time I buy water is I constantly, my wife is obsessed with drink containers. She's obsessed with drink containers. So we have like 20 different drink containers. So honestly, anywhere I go, unless I'm going like on a real long trip or something, then I usually don't buy water. Usually every time I leave the house, I just fill up like a 32 to a 64 ounce jug, depending on how long I'll be gone, and go from there. I'm not up to date on water costs because the only water I currently buy is distilled water, and that's like once a month because my CPAP machine requires it. And that literally is 89 cents. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Fuji's really expensive, or what are some of the other super fancy pinky in the air brands, Icelandic, stuff like that. I'll tell you what, if you want some of the best tasting bottled water you've ever had, Icelandic is the play. I don't even think it's super expensive, but Icelandic water is really, really good. Really, really good.
We do get paid for it, but
Now I know water doesn't have a taste, but it does. Water does have a taste. Yeah, people did in the Victorian age used arsenic to plump up their skin, and it caused a flush glow. I wonder why it caused a flush glow. I wonder why
using
it
this
made
unit
things
for weeks now,
swollen a little
and
bit.
we've been using their other unit, which is...
Can you think of a worse time? And well, yeah, there's probably a lot worse times in history. Growing up in the Victorian area probably was not a fun time.
the one,
man.
it's almost exactly the same as this, but it didn't cool. We've used that one for several months. So in conclusion, so many of us find incredible healing on a carnivore diet because we fix the food we put in our body. I would argue the water is just as important. You need to make sure you're getting the minerals in your water, and you need to make sure you're avoiding...
Saratoga? Oh, dude, I love... Are you talking the sparkling water? The sparkling water Saratoga? Dude, I love that stuff. I love the blue bottle, dude. I love that stuff. It's very close to where I live, too. Saratoga Springs. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. I think that's it. Maybe I'm getting the name wrong. Hold on, let me go look. I actually want a sparkling water now. Hold on, I'll be right back. Oh, I'm so happy you said Saratoga. I'm so happy you said Saratoga because I literally had a big glass bottle of sparkling Saratoga in the fridge that I completely forgot about, and you just reminded me. So
the microplastics,
I'm going to enjoy my delicious
toxins,
bottle
all
of
the
sparkling
nasty
water.
stuff that can end up in there like forever chemicals. So it's very important that you do those things. Leave me a comment down below. Do you have a reverse osmosis system? What do you do for water? Is
cap
it a
was on
concern
there.
for you? And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up.
L'chaim.
Make sure to comment and share this video with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. Beep.
Drink a bunch of that sparkling water so I can burp like a champion. I can't believe you're exercising while fasting. That causes extreme hunger. Yeah. I was hungry last night. I was severely hungry last night after the gym. I wanted to eat really bad. But I digress. I'm on a fast. I wasn't actually planning on fasting this week. My normal 18-6, of course. I was going to do my normal intermittent fasting. But I did not actually plan on an extended fast this week. Josh kind of had the idea, and I figured, why not? We might as well just go for it. But I had not intended on one, so this does kind of feel like a forced fast right now. I think I'm really struggling with this fast. I'm not going to fail it. All I have is what? I got like 5 more hours today before I go to bed, then I got all day tomorrow, so I'm really not stressing it too much. But that being said, this definitely is not feeling like a fast where I'm like super gung-ho about it. I'm super on point and locked in just because it's like one that wasn't really scheduled for me. But then again, it kind of is what it is on that front. I'm still happy to be doing it. I'm just mind blown that I'm gaining weight on a fast. That is the craziest thing. Absolute craziest thing. You know, we have not seen Mr. Iggs in a while. This protein mistake is killing your fat loss. This actually sounds very, very interesting. Let's take a look at this one because maybe this will dive more into ratios and what you're looking at for fat loss. Let's go.
For about a year and a half, I lost 45 pounds fairly easily in about 10 months, and I've been stalled ever since.
So when I started out, I was around 300 pounds. And after I lost about 50 pounds, I hit a stall.
700 days of being carnivore and literally like 500 days just not losing anything.
With a carnivore diet. 1.5 year weight stall.
As I was following this carnivore diet and hearing...
If I ever hit a 1.5 year stall on carnivore, I am going to cry. I actually am. I actually am.
all of your stories of tremendous weight loss and losing 100 pounds, losing 50 pounds, losing 60 pounds. That wasn't happening to me.
Very often I get comments and
154.8
emails
pounds.
from people just like this. They tell me they're doing everything they've been told to do, but they've either lost no weight on carnivore at all, or they've lost some and then hit a plateau that they just can't break past. And I'm going to be blunt here. In my opinion, this is in large part because most of the fat loss advice out there to do with carnivore is simply wrong. So today I'm going to break down the
Enlighten us,
three
Mr.
biggest
German.
fat loss mistakes people make on the carnivore diet, and provide the solutions to each of these issues. For those who don't know me and are wondering why you should listen to me, despite my questionable choice in haircut, my name is Max German, I study biology, I've been carnivore for well over 3 years. In this time I've personally dropped well over 40 pounds, and also worked with hundreds of people who have achieved similar results, in large part due to what we're going to discuss today. This first mistake is a really common one. In fact, it's the biggest one I personally made myself when I was first starting carnivore. Before I fixed this, I had a massive fat...
Just glad that you and Stafford are working on this together. I can imagine you two belly aching to each other about how hungry you are. We're actually not, dude. I don't know. I'm not experiencing like rampant hunger. That's not really why this fast has been difficult. It's just, I don't know. There's always this feeling when I fast. You know what I mean? There's always a feel to it. And it's not that I'm craving food and I just want to be eating food. That's not why this fast is hard. It's just, I don't know. There's times where my body wants to fast and there's times when my body doesn't want to fast. And you can very easily tell. It's so hard for me to describe the feeling. Again, in the past, I've described it as just feeling off. But this fast is one of those. It really, really is. It's just, I feel off. I feel scatterbrained. I feel like I can't focus. It's not the food. It's definitely not the food. I'm not sitting here craving food. I could really care less about food. Wifey had a slip up yesterday. There's like 3 chocolate chip cookies upstairs. I just keep walking past. Trust me, if hunger was an issue, I probably would have jumped on top of those like, well, something I'm not going to say. But there's just times. There's times my body craves the fast, and like within the first 24 hours, I can tell. Sometimes, usually, all right, here's my normal fast routine. Is every fast I do, after the first 24 hours, the first evening, I'm going to have a ton of trouble falling asleep. It happens to me every time. I don't take any sleep aids usually, but the first night of a 24-hour fast, when I'm approaching the 24-hour mark, I usually take just a little bit of melatonin because I know that first night I'm going to have a lot of trouble falling asleep. Now, the following morning when I wake up is going to dictate the whole feel of the fast. I'm either going to wake up the next day and go, okay, I feel really good. This is going to be a good fast. Or I feel off. I feel weird. I don't know how to explain it. I'm so bad at vocalizing the actual feeling of it. And the current fast is one of those, sadly. I woke up and my body's just going, oh man, like we weren't ready for this. We don't want to do this. And normally on any other given week, when I wake up and I have that feeling, I'll just, okay, fast over. I'll say, okay, fast over. We did a 24. It's fine. It is what it is. And we're good to go. And I'll just dive back into food and we'll go from there. But we are doing Project 399 right now, me and Josh Stafford. So there's really no backing out of this one currently. If it was any other time where we weren't doing a duo team fast and all that stuff and making content on it, if it were any other time, this is a fast I would have backed out of after the first 24 hours. It just is. And I really don't know what dictates it. I've never found a correlation of anything that like causes any of these things. It's just, again, I chalk it up to sometimes your body wants to fast and sometimes it doesn't. I was planning a very long fast next week. Actually, kind of doing this fast is going to throw off next week because I was considering a 120-hour attempt next week. I think I'm going to save that. I think I'm going to save that for after 4th of July is what I think the plan is going to be right now. I do believe after 4th of July, not like the day after or anything, but the week after 4th of July, I probably am going to be attempting a 120-hour fast. Not next week, though. Not after doing this one, because this one's actually going to be, this is going to be more than a 72. So it was Monday night, roughly, it was between like 5 to 7 p.m. Monday night was the last time I ate. So we're rapidly approaching 48 right now. We're rapidly approaching the 48-hour mark. And so that'll be 72 tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to be close to an 84 hour. This is going to be close to a 84 hour fast on this one. So it's going to be a long one. It's going to be a long one, but again, I'm just not feeling it. I'm going to make it through. I'm going to push through. I'm going to be fine. Again, it's not hunger. I'm just going to push through. I'm going to suck it up. But this definitely isn't any other set of circumstances would be a fast that I would have backed
Fat loss plateau for many months. What happened is when I was first starting out on carnivore, I had a decent amount of body fat on me. So I figured, well, if I've already got all this fat on me, I probably don't need to eat that much fat on top of it. And at first, this theory, I mean, it worked pretty well. I dropped around 20 pounds or so very quickly, but then I started to notice that no matter how much I ate, I never truly felt full. I never got that surge of energy I had when I first started out and felt incredible. On top of this, the weight, it just stopped coming off.
By
this point, I was probably
way
eating
too much
300 grams of protein a day, which is about 3.3 pounds or 1.5 kilos of meat, which looking back on is quite an insane amount really. However, there was one thing that I did notice. The moment that I ate more fat, all of a sudden I would feel completely full and satiated again. My energy would come straight back, and I actually started to lose body fat. The reason for this is that fat plays a massive role in regulating two hormones that control hunger and fullness. Leptin, which is what tells your brain you're full and you have plenty of energy on board, as well as ghrelin, which does the opposite and tells your brain when you're hungry. So sure enough, as soon as I decided that I was going to up my fat intake and bring my protein down, my leptin signaling was actually restored, I actually felt satiated, and I naturally started to eat less. I've actually pushed this a long way. My protein is now down to roughly 130 grams per day, which is the lowest.
Which is a fantastic number to hear because that's right around where I am every day. Again, I don't have my files. I meant to do so many things when I went upstairs and grabbed this Saratoga water. I meant to grab Saratoga. I meant to take my afternoon pills, and I meant to grab my food log for my food, exercise, my all-around daily log while I was up there. And I did none of that, but I did come back with the Saratoga. So 1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Lowest I've eaten since I was in high school.
I'm right around there. I'm usually more, I'm anywhere from 130 to like 180 grams of protein a day, right around there. I'm usually like 50-50 in grams with fat.
Into lifting weights for a very long time, and for most of my life, I've eaten at least 200 grams of protein a day. So compared to what I'm used to, what I'm eating right now is a very low amount. A lot of people, what they do is they avoid fat because they think that eating fat will make them fat. But in reality, it's the complete opposite. Fat is essential. It's what your body uses to build your hormones, and every cell in your body for that matter. On carnivore, it's also your primary fuel source. So without enough of it, your body just stays hungry, because it's in desperate search of it. This is
just
what I
left
like
Target
to call
Prime Ribs channel to come see you, big guy.
Oh,
why? Thank you, Uncle.
But in
What's
reality,
going on over
fat
his way?
is
Is he
what
live
makes you
right
feel
now?
full, so you end up eating less and you end up getting lean. And I see this with clients all the time. I've had women come to me saying their appetite is absolutely ravenous.
Funnily enough, I spoke with him the other day. We had a nice little DM session. I am going to be doing an interview with him in a couple months. I think his schedule was very, very booked, but I am interviewing with him in a couple months coming up.
And that they're also eating sometimes 250 up to 300 grams of protein a day just because they need this much to not feel hungry. So I'll say to them, are you eating enough fat? And often they think they are, but in reality,
this is kind of where my problem comes in, because if I eat to satiety and I want to take the fat higher, 180 grams, yeah, that's like all I eat, dude. 180 grams, anywhere from like 130 to 180 grams of protein is about my daily intake. It's about all I really get in. Some days more. Some days I have some bigger meals, especially like if I lean into leaner protein stuff, like if I have a day of shrimp or if I have chicken for a day or chicken thighs or something like that, my protein will be a lot higher because you're just getting so much lean protein from that. But here's my problem. Every time people say up the fat, that's where I struggle because of no gallbladder. That's when I start having GI and bowel issues. So I'm kind of trapped in this interim between not being able to take the fat too high, but I also can't bring the fat too low because I'm going into the realm of protein poisoning, and that's just no fun for anyone. It's a very, very delicate balancing act.
It's almost always that their meat is way too lean. And this certainly isn't their fault. We've all been conditioned by this lie that saturated fat is bad for us. And as a result, most people have always chosen leaner cuts of meat, or just simply cut the fat off their meat if there is any. So what most people think is a lot of meat really isn't. So then, how much fat is best? Honestly, I think it's easier to go by your protein. Aim for around 1 gram of protein per day per pound of lean body mass. Or 2.
Well, on that note, let's take a look at a BIA scan here real quick. So, by lean body mass, what is that? Is that skeletal muscle mass? If that's skeletal muscle mass, and we're looking really, really good. I'm eating right around there because my skeletal muscle mass is around 133.2 pounds. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Lean body mass. Oh, good gravy, dude. I was just getting ready to ask. Yeah, no, lean body mass, I'm at 233.5 pounds. So I should be eating like 230 grams of protein a day, which I am not getting anywhere near that, guys. I am not getting anywhere near that much protein. I don't know how to do that without eating lean because I can only take fat so far. And here's a massive part of my issue right now. Because if I just go straight red meat, then my fat is going to be up around 200 grams too, which then becomes a problem because GI and bowel issues will start and exacerbate and get through the roof to the point where I can't live like that. It's this shit. I think I need to start mixing in more lean protein on top of what I'm doing. To hit protein goals like that, I really think I have to. I think what I mean by that is a lot more surf and turf.
2.2 grams
a lot
per
more
kg.
surf and turf.
For
Might
context,
actually be the
100
play.
grams of meat has about 20 grams of protein. And when I say lean body mass, I mean what you'd weigh around 10% body fat with very little fat on you. Then for the amount of fat you eat, in large part just eat to satiety. For many people when starting carnivore, because they've never eaten a significant amount of healthy saturated fat before starting, what can happen is that when they finally get some, their body's just like, whoa, this is incredible, give me more of this. And all of a sudden they get this ravenous appetite where all they want to do is eat lots of fat. Their bodies are just simply trying to make up for the lack of fat they've had in the past. Now, for me personally, I was a bit of a, I guess you'd call it burger addict. You know, I prefer the term burger connoisseur, but I mean,
meats food. I love that guy's channel. Love that guy's channel.
So I've been eating lots of saturated fat for years, which is probably why when I first started out, I didn't really need that much fat. Now, what you'll likely notice, whether it be straight away for someone who was eating...
It's also why it's hard for you to be in ketosis like you would like. Yeah, dude, I'm just... My body's a shit show, man. My body's an absolute shit show.
Saturated fat like I was. Or after a couple of months, if you were someone who wasn't eating much saturated fat before starting out, is that if you've got a larger amount of body fat, you'll probably need not that much fat in comparison to someone who's leaner. Then over time, as you start dropping weight, you'll likely need to start increasing your fat intake. And you'll know this because you crave it. This is exactly why I say listen to your satiety. And a great way to get fat when you're on the go is with the carnivore bar. This is the healthiest snack on the planet. Their unflavored version is just meat and salt. Now, truthfully, in the past, fat loss on carnivore. Eating too much protein. Not because protein itself stops you from losing weight, but because it means you don't get enough fat and therefore you never feel satiated. Now, you do, however, need to be careful about where you're getting this fat from. This is what this next mistake is all about. This next mistake actually hijacks your satiety pathway and causes you to consume too much food, which then prevents fat loss. And with this one, I'm not joking when I say this. It is by far the biggest carnivore diet mistake when it comes to fat loss. I've had people come to me, change absolutely nothing except this one thing.
I was still in moderate ketosis on Monday.
So,
I didn't make a video about it, but I was still in moderate ketosis.
I had a tasty magical potion designed for one single purpose: to make something grow. It's extremely high in energy, which is exactly what fat is. Fat is simply stored energy. It also has all the right characteristics so that it doesn't fill you up, and instead makes you want to keep eating it. And on top of that, it contains compounds that act on the very same opioid receptors in your brain as morphine does, which then can, at least to some degree, trigger a sort of mild addiction. And then imagine I told you, go ahead, consume as much of this as you want. Trust me, you'll be ripped in no time. Now, maybe part of you would love me for it, but the logical part of your brain would go, you know what, I think this guy may not be entirely correct. Well, this magical potion, it actually exists. And it's a carnivore food that most people consume on a daily basis. A lot of people are told that on carnivore they can eat as much as they like of all carnivore foods and that they're going to lose weight regardless. But in my experience, this is not at all the case. The carnivore food I'm talking about is dairy. Now, dairy is produced by mammals for one reason.
But I
that
can't
is
eat
to grow
dairy,
the
Max
infant.
German.
Because of this, it's very energy dense. And due to its hyperpalatability and low density physical structure, it is very easy to overeat compared to meat. It also contains a compound called beta-casomorphin 7, which has a very similar structure to morphine, hence the name casomorphin morphine. So it makes you
Glucose
crave
levels
it
by
and keep coming
18
back for
for
more.
what?
Very recently, I worked with a guy who'd been on carnivore for many years. In that time, he'd gone from 160 kilos down into the high 80s, but he'd stalled for the last year or so. I suggested to him that to start, he do nothing but eliminate dairy. Within just 2 months of us
Okay,
working
he's
together
talking.
and changing
He's talking eliminating dairy. I see exactly what he's saying now. He's talking eliminating dairy.
absolutely nothing.
Bro, I'm gonna look so much worse than that. I'm gonna have nipples by my belly button by the time I'm done. For KGI. I don't even calculate any of that stuff. I just let the app do it for me. I look at the number the app spits out and go, okay.
Except eliminating dairy. He went from 89.3 kilos down to 80.3 and got absolutely shredded. He ended up getting down into the mid-70s. This right here is because dairy, on top of it being super high in energy and easy to overeat, can cause some people just to have more food noise. A lot of people find that when they cut dairy, they naturally end up eating fewer meals, because their appetite finally settles and they don't have that noise in the back of their head that's just constantly making them want to eat. In fact, all of the people from the clips you saw at the start of this video, they actually say that dairy was one of the main reasons for their fat loss stalls. In some cases, they essentially attribute it entirely to dairy.
My 30-day no dairy carnivore experience, I got my hunger cues back. I was mindlessly eating cheese when I wasn't technically hungry, and I lost about 8 pounds.
I don't have cream anymore at all. My cheese.
Why does cheese have to be the best thing in the world and one of the most just fantastic parts of carnivore? And it's something I can't have. It's something I can't have. Why does that have to be? Why does that have to be?
Cheese consumption has gone down. That stall went from this to a big drop.
The time I was eating some dairy, I decided to stop. Just focus on mostly beef and lamb, a little bit of chicken, a little bit of seafood. I lost 8 pounds in a little bit more than a month, which has never happened in over a year.
Now, I'm not saying that you have to cut dairy out entirely. We're all genetically different people, and some people don't get the same effect from it that others do. But what I do think is that if you've had a fat loss
what's
stall
going
carnivore,
on?
you should seriously
How's
consider
your
reducing dairy.
most wonderful of Wednesdays going? Hopefully well. Mine is so-so, more or less. I'm kind of having an indifferent day, to be honest with you. It ain't bad, but it ain't great. Nonetheless, I'm here.
Cutting dairy out.
But this is one of those things I've already found through all of my tests and all my numbers and all the other stuff I keep track of on my just journey as a whole, is dairy does not work for me. The minute I tried to add dairy back into anything, whether that be cheese, whether that be milk, I've tried the raw variants of everything. The biggest hit of all, cottage cheese. If I have any of those, I will stall my weight loss. It is undeniable. The minute I reintroduce a single one of those, my diet goes out the window. I will stall. I will generally retain water. I will gain weight back. And it sucks. It really does, because dairy is just one of my favorite things in the world. And people ask me all the time, well, what was the worst thing that you had to give up on carnivore, or what do you miss the most? And the answer is always the same. It's always dairy. It's always dairy. Doing great, thanks. Indifferent hugs. Well, thank you for the hug. It's like I said, indifferent. It's not bad. I am not having a bad day by any means. I'm just not having a fantastic day. It's an okay day. I think a part of it is I did a lot of stuff in the gym yesterday that I have not done in years. I really, really pushed myself in the gym. Like, I'm reaching for something right now. My arm hurts. I'm not used to being in this much pain from a gym session, but I did push myself very, very hard the other day. Not to the point of hurting myself or anything like that. Catch you later, Bill, Bucky, Uncle, Christy, Don Shalunga. You taking off, Benny Bob? It was good to have you. As always, man, you are a beast. You're almost always number one in the chat. You always got that number one badge by you. You're an amazing, amazing human being, Benny. Safe travels for the rest of your day. Appreciate you stopping by. We're probably only going to go, when we start stream. 59. We're probably only going to go for another probably 45 minutes or so today. I have a bunch of stuff to do this evening. actually, where's my list? Not to show much of it, but I have a very large list of things to accomplish this evening, so we're not going super long today. But man, I'm telling you, dairy's just the nemesis.
I basically cut it out entirely when I was trying to get lean, and now that I am lean and I'm not really trying to lose any more weight, I do have some. It's also important to note that if dairy is your
only... See, that's kind of the point I hope to be able to get back to, is that like once I do reach goal weight, in another year to a year and a half, more than likely. Once I do reach my goal weight and I'm entering the maintain phase instead of trying to just shred the weight off, I'm hoping maybe then I can experiment a little bit with dairy. And again, not a daily occurrence, but maybe a couple times a week, have some cottage cheese or maybe a little shredded cheese on something. I think I'm going to be able to. I remain hopeful I'm going to be able to, but I am hoping down the road I will be able to add it back in.
Any way to get fat in, then do keep eating it. Fat is incredibly important for your health, and obviously that comes first. But for fat loss specifically, trust me, across hundreds of people I've seen this, there is absolutely nothing that speeds up fat loss on carnivore like reducing or cutting dairy does. So yeah.
I 100% agree with this. 100% agree. It is my own personal experience as well as his scientific experience. Max German has the scientific end. All I have is really my own personal story to base things off of, as when it comes to math and science and these things, I am quite the simpleton. But I 120% agree with this evaluation that dairy, if you are struggling and you are currently using dairy, very high odds that's what's stalling you out or making you gain. It really, really is. It really, really is.
Do keep that in mind. Now, cooking your meals in butter is fine, but instead of getting your fat from milk, cheese, or butter, where possible, try getting it from extra beef.
Now, here's the crazy thing. So I just did 30 days on Lion. I didn't have butter for 30 days, and I was losing the fastest I've lost in a while. I am actually considering this. I am actually considering, even though I'm off of Lion, I was going to reintroduce butter this Friday. So I could just wallow in it for a day or two, but I honestly don't believe I'm going to. I think I'm going to consider buddy. I'm going to consider buddy. All right. In my defense, that was the first time I stumbled over my words today. I think butter is going to go right on the shelf with dairy. I don't think I'm going to use butter for much anymore. I am completely content with how much I've been doing Lion Diet. I am more than content just cooking with beef tallow for everything I do. Right before I started the fast, my last meal was just a big old pile of eggs that my wife did in beef tallow, and oh my god, it was so good.
Or lamb trimming. So you can just cook these up with your meal, or you can even just add some beef tallow after. And for the record, I love dairy just as much as anyone, so it pains me to have to say all this, probably about as much as it pains you to have to hear it, but just objectively, this is what I've seen in my experience, and I do fundamentally believe it to be true.
Yeah.
So that's the second mistake holding back your fat loss on carnivore: over-consuming dairy. The final main mistake that many people fat loss on carnivore what happens when they try to quit dairy. Now, the most foundational...
I put a little too much emphasis on the syllable on that one and just let it loose.
Foundational principle in human psychology. Human psychology 101, if you like. Is that it all...
You know what my problem is? And I feel like this happens to a lot of people. I've talked to a few people about this principle before, but the way I think versus the way I speak. So I talk so fast in my head. My rate of speech inside my own head, inner dialogue, is just... And when I'm talking, I'm doing the same thing. So every time I'm talking, my sentence in my head, I am 3 or 4 words ahead of what my mouth is saying at all times. So I start intermingling words. I'll be saying a word that was 4 words behind and then start saying the word that's 4 words ahead. That's honestly why I stumble my words so hard all the time. It's the funniest thing. I don't know how to fix it besides trying to slow down, but I do have that ADHD is autistic brain working for me. So I don't know if that's just a part of it, but it's undeniable that nonetheless, it is hilarious when it happens. It always makes me laugh. Oh my god, my wife busts me uncontrollably over me fumbling words all the time. It's the funniest thing.
Humans are trying to do 2 things: seek pleasure and avoid pain. The easiest way to do both at once is to get a release of a hormone called dopamine. Dopamine is responsible for motivation, reward, and pleasure. So when it spikes, you get a huge sense of pleasure and you feel great. Scientists and big food companies have known this for a very long time. These companies
They got the
literally
old
have teams
wombo
of some
combo
of the
going into all them
smartest
fast food
scientists on the
joints, every single one.
whose entire job is to engineer food to give you as much dopamine as possible. One of the ways
that
they do
Jack
this
Black?
is by targeting what's known as the bliss point.
Why
This
was there
is
just
the
a random
perfect
Jack
ratio
Black in there?
of salt, sugar, and fat. When they get this combination exactly right, which they often do because they're pretty damn good at their jobs, the food, it just tastes incredible, and you get this massive dopamine release. Your body, it certainly does not forget that feeling. And dairy, to some degree, has this effect on the brain also. So when you're bored, stressed, or
Fairlife
in any
dairy
kind of
is
state
so
that
good.
isn't
You guys ever
suited
had
to you
Fairlife
fine,
before?
your
That's like
body
my
knows a
favorite milk
simple
in the
solution
world. Their
isn't far
protein
away.
milk.
It remembers the quick hit.
It's so
It remembers
good.
what a cookie, a burger, or maybe some ice cream will do. And this right here is where the cravings kick in. There is nothing that
He's so right again. It like activates that same center that makes you feel like you're having one of those things you shouldn't be having. Like cottage cheese is that for me. Cottage cheese, after starting carnivore, cottage cheese became like my ice cream. It was my reward at the end of the week. And what I was doing for a while was every Friday, when I had a successful weigh-in, every Friday I go to the gym, and what I would do every single Friday, only if my weigh-in was good because I consider it my reward for earning it. If I had a good weigh-in Friday morning, because I record the weigh-ins on Fridays at like 5 a.m. like every single day. What's going on, Abigail? I record the weigh-ins every Friday at 5 a.m. and go to the gym, and on the way home from the gym, I would get a big old thing of dairy cottage cheese. Daisy cottage cheese. Dairy, all cottage cheese is gravy, man. But, and that would be my reward for after stream. I come home from the gym and we do Friday stream, and then my big reward every Friday night would be a big old thing of cottage cheese. And I treated it just like ice cream. The way I thought about it mentally and everything else, it really hit the same signals on my brain and everything else. But that's when I realized I kept having these really good weigh-ins on Fridays. And then all of a sudden, come Saturday morning after having that cottage cheese, bam, that scale would be back up 5 pounds from my weigh-in on Friday every single time. And that's about the time I realized, damn, this is actually a very big problem. How's my day going so far? So, more or less, somewhere around there, you know? Not great, not bad. We're here, we're existing. I'm sore from the gym, I know that much. I am absolutely destroyed from my gym session yesterday.
kills carnivore.
I did a lot more than I'm used to. I wanted to push the limits a little bit, and I did just that. And, well, I'm still alive, so I guess that's a win, first and foremost.
Fat loss more than cravings, because we're all human. So every now and then, those cravings, they can win. So, how do you avoid cravings and therefore never slip off? Well, there's great news. It's very important to know that the human mind is primarily wired to remember what it's been rewarded for in the short term. In fact, the easiest way to predict what someone will do this week is to look at what they were positively rewarded for over the past couple of weeks. This is very well demonstrated. When you're trying to change a behavior, you have to reward it positively or negatively as soon as possible. This is why when my girlfriend cooks me dinner, even when it's terrible, immediately afterwards I tell her just how grateful I am and how amazing it was. By doing this, I'm manipulating.
No, you tell her how fantastic it was. She took the time to make you a nice home-cooked meal, and then you politely tell her that it tasted like shit. Because if you don't do that, you're going to keep getting shit dinners.
Her into doing it every night. For the record, that's a joke. I don't manipulate my girlfriend. In fact,
I'm from USA. Oh, I'm a USA man myself.
I don't even have a girlfriend.
Bulimic or not.
But that would be the best method to get your spouse to cook you dinner every single night. So the question that remains is, how do we hack this principle to eliminate all cravings? Well, one of my favorite studies on this is this one right here. This was published in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin. Across a whole series of studies, it found that an immediate reward was a far stronger predictor of whether people stuck with a goal than even how important they deemed the long-term payoff of this goal to be. Even though, when asked beforehand, the participants all stated that the long-term payoff was the real reason for
I actually
taking
want to
action
read
in
this
the
study.
first place.
This sounds very interesting. As someone who's really tried to change habits majorly overall, I think this would be a really good read. I'm going to have to check it out. What's my dream car? 1991 Dodge single cab 12-valve Cummins with a 5-speed.
What actually happens when it comes to cravings is this. If you don't consume a food for roughly
5.9
around 2
diesel,
weeks,
baby.
the craving for it goes away. This is because when you don't get positively rewarded by something in the short term, Your body no longer remembers just how much pleasure it got from it, and therefore you no longer seek it. After this point, when it goes looking for dopamine, it instead reaches for something it can remember being rewarded for. And there's a trick with this. When I first started carnivore,
so basically you're just conditioning yourself into believing
it was
this is
a
what it is,
3-month
which,
period
I mean,
where I would slip up.
In other words, I've always said this. I live and die by this realm of reasoning. Fake it till you make it. It works. It really, really does. I don't care what facet of life you're talking about. Fake it till you make it. Every major thing I have achieved in my life was off of that basic principle. Fake it till you make it. Every single time. It's like Dodge. My cousin has a Dodge Challenger. Is he in the military by
For
chance?
just one thing, one more time. And I'm not proud to admit this. This is certainly not a story that's going to leave you sitting there like, damn, this Max German guy, he's the man. But anyway, when I first started carnivore, there was this one supermarket I would always go to. New World is what it's called. And they have these chocolate donuts. Every single time I walked past one of them, I would essentially tweak out. I was almost like possessed by these donuts.
Yeah.
They would look at me funny to the point where I couldn't not have one more for one last time. And you know, since it was my final ever time,
See, that was my realm of thinking. When I was still eating bad before I went the carnivore route and everything else, it was literally engineer in Dubai. Oh my, Dubai, very fancy, very, very fancy. Shit, I lost my train of thought. Okay, no, so it was always, when I was still eating bad before discovering carnivore and losing all the weight I've lost and everything else, it was always one last time, one more. We just can have one more and then it's done. We'll have one more cheat meal tonight and then it's all over. Tomorrow's a new day. We start right over. Well, then there's leftovers and then you wake up and you still have the carb cravings and it's just not worth it. It's really, really not worth it.
It'd be wrong if I didn't get the Kit Kat one also. So I'd head to my car, eat it, it would taste okay. Then afterwards I'd sit there disappointed in myself, probably call myself some adjectives.
I appreciate that, Abigail. Thank you very much.
Take a good look at myself in the mirror as the donut munching dork that
I truly appreciate it. We don't get many organic viewers over on the Twitch side. Most of the people are over on YouTube right now.
Then come the next day, I'd have these same intense cravings again. And because it'd be a Sunday, it would simply be wrong not to start my generational lock-in on a Monday. You know, that right there, it feels more right. And let's just say that come the end of these 3 months of starting my lock-in every single Monday, that every single local convenience store and burger joint in my local area would start getting my order ready when they saw my cart pull up. Certainly not my finest 3 months. But once I understood this, and I knew that
finest 3 months, Max German, try living like that for 20 plus years. Tell me
all I had to do was get through 2 weeks. One day I said to myself, alright, no matter what, for 30 days I'm doing 100% strict carnivore. No matter what, the donut munching dork is retiring for at least 30 days.
The donut
if this concept does not work and I still want these foods, then, well, I guess I'll have them then. And guess what? Now, for the last 3 years, a total of 0 donuts consumed.
Oh, by all means, Abigail, by all means.
In fact, now when I go to that exact same supermarket, most of the time I don't even notice they're there, and then, I don't know, if I do look in that direction, I just sort of just look at them with disgust. And this same thing right here happens with every single client I have that makes it past this 2-week point. Once they make it here, their cravings are gone for good. In fact, for many people, it takes less time than this. Starting a diet is incredibly hard. When you start, you don't have any of that positive reinforcement from the diet yet, but you've still got all that negative reinforcement from the dopamine hit of the food. And I mean, it only becomes harder when you're on attempt 22 of making it no longer than 3 days. And as a result, you no longer trust yourself when you say you're going to commit. When it comes to cravings, there's no real secret that makes them disappear instantly. Which is why 70% of people are overweight or obese and addicted to food. This is why
do you
constantly
do those,
reminding
Abigail?
yourself that very soon you will have zero desire for these things is so important. To make this method even more effective, you want to get a new dopamine source that is the complete opposite of eating these foods. It needs to be something that if you consume one of these foods, it completely counters out this new dopamine source that your brain now sees as its new primary source. That way you introduce even less pleasure and more pain to the association you have with these foods. This is exactly why when I start working with someone, I get them increasing their...
For everyone on the YouTube side of the equation, I'm going to show you something fun right now. So this is what I deal with on the Twitch side of the equation. We're going to bring this up. So folks come in and they really commit to the bit. They really commit to the bit here. They come in, they want to know how your day's doing, everything else. By the way, Abigail, I pinned you for what you were doing the minute you came in. I knew exactly what was going on here. So we're going to have a fun little look at you here and have a good laugh over on the YouTube side where everyone's hanging out. So essentially this is all I get on the Twitch side. These people create and sell emotes and artwork and all this other stuff. They try and do it through Discord mostly. And they come in under the guise of just liking your stream and everything else. They have this whole spiel they share every single time. They ask a couple key questions to get you like just kind of in and stuff. But Abigail, come on, you got to be better than that. You got to be better than that. You really do. You got to have some new tactics here. You got to figure some stuff out a little bit. You know what I mean? You could be better than that. You got to be better than that. You really do. You really do. You really do. I'm going to bring it back again. Bring it back. I love to share your work. I'm just going to charge you a bunch of money. And that is a massive ban hammer going in. I honestly think, guys, here is something I've been weighing the odds for a while now. For those of you on YouTube, you may not know, I multi-stream. So every time I'm live streaming like this, I am also live on Twitch. I am also live on a platform named Kick. And every stream for the last, I'm going to go ahead and say 6 months or so, that every single one has been multicast to all 3 platforms. And why not at that point? For the potential for growth across 3 platforms versus 1. Well, we have not had an organic viewer on Twitch or Kick in several months. I think Abigail's presence in the stream and having to ban him just now has finally sealed the deal and made the decision for me. I think starting Friday, we're going to start this. I believe that I am no longer going to stream to Twitch or Kick. I think I am completely done doing that. It's all bots, all people trying to sell stuff, no actual organic viewers. So I believe starting Friday, we are only going to stream to YouTube from here on out. Perhaps I'll do some short stuff for TikTok and Instagram, but I think that's the final nail in the coffin. I have not had an organic Twitch viewer in, months. Same with Kick. It's all just bots. So I think that was the final nail in the coffin, our little Abigail here trying to sell emotes and stuff. I think we're going to call that good, and on Friday we'll be YouTube only. We're going to make that decision because you guys on YouTube are the absolute best. You're engaging, you're awesome, you're nice. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, but Twitch and Kick not so much.
And ideally doing some kind of workout routine. In 2 weeks' time, your brain's not going to remember just how much pleasure it got from these foods anymore, but it is going to remember just how good these new habits are making you feel.
Yeah.
So your brain's new default is simply to do this instead. Whether it be processed foods, dairy, or just anything really. When the cravings kick in,
how about Rumble? Also, you know what? I am kind of thinking about that. I do post all the videos that I do make. I do generally post to Rumble, although I've been really, really bad about it for a while. I'm thinking about adding Rumble. Maybe I'm going to get rid of Twitch and Kick because they are absolutely useless so far, and maybe add Rumble in. I think Rumble's a fantastic platform. My problem is I've been posting every platform that I'm on. I've seen fairly good growth. My main platform by far, my main number one ultimate platform is Instagram. Instagram is my number one go-to. It's where I have the biggest following, the biggest just overall success there. YouTube has been fantastic. TikTok, I do okay. Facebook, I'm doing fairly well. X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it at this point, I do very well. Rumble, however, for the amount of videos I've posted on Rumble, I have seen almost no following. My only problem with Rumble is, in my mind, 90% politics and like 10% video games is really all that Rumble is. Like a health and fitness type thing or weight loss or any of the stuff that I'm doing really doesn't seem to do well there. I am going to keep posting there, though. I'm absolutely going to keep posting stuff there, but maybe we will consider live streams there in the future because they are the best split. They're absolutely the best split for the content creator and platform and everything else. So that's actually a really good idea, Don. That's actually a really good idea. Maybe I should start looking into that. Maybe Friday we will do a dual stream there. We'll see though. YouTube is by far number one for streaming. I can do live stuff on Instagram and TikTok. I really don't because it's vertical content. You almost have to do it from your phone, so I really don't mess with that at all. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll add Rumble in and see what happens.
Remind yourself, they're not going to be here forever, and in 2 weeks, they're going to be completely gone. So that right there is the third and final carnivore mistake, giving in to cravings. You simply need to remind yourself you're not going to need willpower forever, and that all you need is some temporary discipline. If you can master...
I don't think I'm going to need temporary discipline. I think for me, the discipline is going to be a very, very permanent fixture of my life for a very long time going forward.
You can achieve all your goals on carnivore. If you apply these 3 things, I can very confidently say that there is a strong probability that is going to make a big difference to the fat loss you are hoping to achieve on carnivore. Now obviously, a video like this can only give you the general principles. So, if you'd like a more personalized approach, as well as accountability so that you actually follow through and never fall off, then I'd like to invite you to take part in my 90-day fat loss program. In it, we'll work one-on-one together using my backed by biology 3-step formula to create the perfect diet and lifestyle program that optimizes your biology. This makes fat loss effortless, while simultaneously sending your energy levels to an all-time high. Hundreds of people have already had life-changing transformations through this program. So if you're ready to be next, click the top link in the description of this video. It'll take you straight to the application page, where you'll also find a short video explaining exactly how the whole program works. Anyway,
pretty cool stuff. I am excited to meet Max German. I'm very, very excited to meet Max German. I know he's going to be at Meat Stock next year. I believe he's also going to be at Hack Your Health this fall, which I am attending, friends. Little side note there. Actually, let's just watch the video, shall we? Let's just watch the video. This is going to be a sneak peek of a video that's going to be launching as soon as I end stream here. Little announcement we got going live. I am loading up the editing software right now, and I'll show you a copy of this video. Oh, I could have just opened it from the file. What am I doing? Why am I opening such big things when I don't have to open such big things? But I digress. Here we go. Okay, download. All right, so I'm going to be attending Hack Your Health this November, but a little friendly announcement here. I was able to talk to the showrunners, and we got this for you. This is a sneak peek of a video. This actually isn't even live yet. This video will be going live as soon as I finish stream today, but here's a little sneak peek for you guys. Now, the benefits of losing 150 pounds cannot be understated, and the amount of things I'm starting to gain back in life are honestly countless. But one of the biggest and most important things is just being able to get my big ass out here again, being able to go places, go to the gym, do shopping, do all this stuff, not being stuck at home, including traveling. It's so fun getting out, seeing sights, traveling with the wife again, and I want to share that experience with as many of you guys as I can. So on that note, I will be attending the Hack Your Health conference in Tampa, Florida this November. I cannot wait to meet a ton of you guys there, see new intuitive stuff in health, new technology in health and exercise and all these great things. It's going to be so much fun, and just being able to get out there and meet some of you guys is going to be truly so healthy for me. I hope a ton of you guys can make it there. I would love to see your faces, meet you guys in person. I was able to talk to the people that are holding the event and get us a discount code. This is for $100 off of tickets if you guys are interested. I would love to see you there. And now we keep the work going, because I am going to have to fit in an airplane in November. I am going to have to do that. And we're not quite there yet, but we're going to get it. We are going to get it. So another interesting thing, if you guys are thinking about attending Hack Your Health, we do have a nice discount code for $100 off of tickets. And give me one moment.
It's well known that dry aging makes steaks better. Now Wagyu tallow makes everything better. Today, I'm trying to combine both to see if I can create the greatest burger in the world. But
sorry, I had to mute out there for a second. Sorry, wifey came down. I was talking to her for 2 seconds. I always do that. And the funny thing is, you want to know the worst part? Here, so you guys can see it. So my mic, see how it's got a green glow? When I mute the mic, it actually has a dark red glow to it. And I seem not even to notice when I mute it, even with the bright red glow in my face.
all of
Thank you for
them
reminding me, though.
survive.
Thank you for reminding me.
And to find out, I'm going to be making 3 different
Yeah,
burgers.
Uncle, if you're
no
still
one
in
has
chat,
ever
let me
seen
know.
before.
Let me know if
One will be
Target Prime
coated
Rib's
with
still
pure
going. We'll go do a
Wagyu
raid
tallow.
on his
The second,
channel
I'm
when we
going
end
to
stream
infuse
here.
extra flavor with thyme and
Oh
garlic.
my
And
God,
the third
these
will
look so
provide
good.
an extra kick, but it can also paralyze your mouth. And before we can even start, the most important thing is the meat. And if you're thinking, why don't you just dry age ground beef? Well, I did. Let me tell you something. That was not the best experience.
No,
even
I
though
can't
it worked
imagine it would
okay.
be.
The end result was not what I was looking for. So let's scrap
That
that.
looks
and
like
start
more of
from
a
scratch.
meatloaf than a
I got
burger.
myself several different cuts of beef to make a nice blend. We have picanha, eye-round, brisket, and short rib. I went ahead and cut it in small cubes, let the whole thing slightly freeze, put my grinder together, and it was still nice and cold. I went ahead and grinded the whole thing. Now I have fresh beef ready to be aged. Next, to make the burger patties, I decided to go with 4-ounce patties. This is big enough to keep them juicy and thin enough to get the coating that I want with the Wagyu tallow. But we all know if I try to use Wagyu tallow like this, they'll just break apart on me. So for that, into the freezer they went so that they can get hard. Once that was done,
Yep,
I
gotta
went ahead and
ditch the
tied them
bun.
out so
The
that I
bun.
can do the
That's
dip.
that's the only gripe I have when I watch Guga videos. Like, he always does steak and meat and burgers and all this awesome stuff, and he always makes the side dishes that are just pure carbs and sugar and stuff. It's so hard to watch, but man, his meat science is unparalleled.
Because
Though. He
this
does
is
some
the most
really cool
important
stuff.
ingredient of today's experiment.
Hey, I use that
Beef
tallow.
But this is not your average beef tallow. It is from South Chicago Packing. Let me tell you something, friends. I've tried all of the beef tallow in the market.
I
This
love
is
their
the
tallow.
best.
It's so good.
Surprisingly, it's not as expensive as you might think.
It's really
Some
not.
oils cost even more than this, which makes no sense to me. And in all honesty, it just makes everything better. Now here's the key to age burgers on it. You want to melt it down and keep it at 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Once that's done, transfer it to a container and immediately do the dip. Here's what happens.
dip.
Since the beef tallow is about 100 degrees Fahrenheit and the burger patty is slightly before 30, it almost instantaneously solidifies, creating the perfect coating without cooking the patty. That's what you want. This is one of the most satisfying thing I've ever done in cooking. But this
That's
is
so
just the
cool.
beginning.
Look at
I went
those
ahead
things.
and grab myself these ingredients. We got thyme, garlic, corchucado, and Sichuan peppercorn. This doesn't just add flavor. It actually creates a numbing sensation on your lips and tongue that can feel almost like temporarily paralyzing it. It's one of the most unique spices I've ever used in cooking. To use them, I started with the same process. We gotta render down the Wagyu fat first, but bring the temperature to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. As soon as that's done, I started with the thyme and garlic. Now we want to go ahead and fry these two elements. As it's doing so, it will release all that flavor into the Wagyu tallow, hopefully making it taste even better. And it doesn't take a long time. Just make sure not to overdo it.
See, this
because
is
if
the
you
type
burn
of
the
stuff I would
garlic,
never
things
even
will go
think of.
south.
My
Once
God,
the
it looks
flavor
so
have
good.
been infused, you want to go ahead and strain the whole thing. It's that simple. Same goes for the paralyzing burger. Bring it to around 325 degrees Fahrenheit and immediately go in with the corchucado followed by the Sichuan peppercorn. Let these spices release their flavor in the Wagyu tallow, creating something no one has ever tasted before. Because once that's done, the most satisfying thing I've ever made in my life is this. As soon as the frozen burger patty hits the Wagyu tallow, it's just mesmerizing. When I first thought of this experiment, I thought this was going to be complicated. Turns out, it's simple, easy, and something anyone can do. And here's a quick tip. If you want to bring down the
I wanna
temperature of your
try
Wagyu
this,
tallow quickly,
actually. I
putting the
really
whole
do.
bowl in a nice bath will bring it down quickly. Remember, you want that tallow to be under 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It's the magic temperature because it will still be liquid and it will easily coat the whole thing. Once that was done, I got all of my burger patties ready to be aged. And by the way, if you don't use all of your Wagyu tallow, you can save it and use it instead of use any type of oil. As now, into my dry ager, these patties go for a whole month.
All this time, all this effort, all this work has all led me to this. It has been a little bit over a month and I'm extremely excited to try them. Now there's different ways to cook these burgers. You can cook them on a cast iron skillet or you can go ahead and cook them on a griddle. But one thing is undeniable. You must put this Wagyu beef tallow to good use and cook with it. The last thing you want is to go ahead and peel it off and see what the burger looks like. Just trust me on this one.
But before we cook them, there's two things we need: seasoning and a sauce. I really want to feel the flavor of the burger, so I kept the seasoning simple. 3 parts salt and 1 pepper. I just made sure that the size of the salt and the pepper were exactly the same. Oh, and by the way, I highly recommend using a shaker whenever you're seasoning outdoors. It just makes the job easier. Now for the burger sauce, I kept it simple too. I went with mayo, ketchup, mustard, and Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire sauce?
Burger
Oh my
sauce,
God.
and it is proven that everyone loves it. Now one thing I love to do is to put it on a squeeze bottle. It just makes things easier. And before I can go outside and get them all on the grill, I went ahead and did a quick test by cooking one indoors. And the end results was kind of unreal.
I bet, dude. Look at that thing.
Wow. Let me give you guys a quick explanation because the way you cook these burgers are not the normal way. First, I highly recommend you using yourself some protection. Not only you use rubber gloves, but you put something to protect your hands. Because remember, we are going to have a tremendous amount of Wagyu fat rendered and literally frying these burgers. That's why the crust is absolutely on a whole different level. Next, the tools. 2 spatulas. That way you can flip them and also place them very, very nicely on the burger bun. I suggest when you make these burgers, prep everything ahead of time.
I mean, if you're not toasting the bun on a burger, not that we can have buns on our end of the equation, but if you're not toasting the bun, you're not doing it right.
Unbearable. So you want to cook it on some type of griddle. Make sure your griddle has high edges so that it catches the rendered fat. Remember, you're doing 2 things with this burger. You're frying and grilling it at the same time. Because now the only thing left to do is to grill. So now I say, it is enough talking and it is time to get cooking. So let's do it.
Let's do the thing, Guga. This song is 100% going to copyright this stream, too.
All right, everybody, and here we got our beautiful feast. Gentlemen.
Woo! When was the last time you made burgers?
It's been a second.
What are these supposed to be?
So these are here for one reason only. We have a very interesting experiment. This is here if you want to taste the burgers by itself, because everything else is exactly the same except the burger patties itself. They went through a very interesting process that I believe it has changed my way of cooking burgers forever. But I want to know your opinion. We're gonna start right here, please.
I got to the point I got so lazy when I do my ground beef. I literally just do it in a pile of ground beef. I don't even make burgers anymore. One of these days, maybe I'll get back to it. Maybe I'll get back to doing burgers again. But man, I just go straight for the ground beef anymore.
Please dig in, boys. All right, let's go for it. Cheers.
Cheers.
If you are wondering if the work is worth it, I'm gonna go ahead and say yes.
I'm not a big fan of thick patties, but this is really good. I don't know what you did, but that is super, super flavorful. Yeah, when it's this juicy, it's okay to be this thick.
It is very, very juicy. Tell me about the crust, Fefe.
It's interesting because not normally do you get crust like this, because it would feel like the only way to get this crust would be to get the patty super well done, but it doesn't feel well done. It's a very nice crust, nice and crunchy. That plus the bread, it's like a nice combination of like crunchy and crackly.
How about you? What do you think?
Honestly, Goga, I love smash burgers, but this has that same crispiness as a smash burger, and it's juicy.
Yeah, and most of the time you would have to trade off, over...
Flip it out of the styrofoam, man. That's all I do. I used to get all creative about it, and I'd have these perfect little burger patties and all of these, and I'd measure out the ground beef and get them the perfect size and smash them and do all this stuff, get the perfect little crust on a smash burger and do all that. And then I just realized, what is even the point? It's going to be just as good when I just dump it right out of the container into it. So
cooking the burger for it.
Save myself some work in the long
that
run.
Everyone should experience at least once in their life. What do you think?
Honestly, Guga, did you
like deep fry this or something, because this is a thick patty and it has an incredible crust.
That would make a lot of sense.
It feels like deep fried, and I guess in a sense, yes, you have to see it. Next question I have for you is flavor.
It's a lot beefier than normal burger patties, that's for sure. It's amazing, so much more meaty flavor in there. It's very nice.
Do you feel any dry age flavor on this burger?
Not really, I just feel just that beefiness. That's about it.
I couldn't agree more. If you think that this is going to taste like a dry age steak, does it?
No, at all. So this is dry age?
Yes, it is dry age. It doesn't feel like dry age. It just feels like a lot beefier and juicier burger that has been concentrated.
I would love to be able to start
max.
dry aging
Now,
stuff.
the next one that
it'd
I
be
did,
so good.
it's something
It'd
a
be
little
so
bit
good.
different.
Cheers.
Oh, another great burger. My goodness.
Oh, you're feeling it.
A hint of spice.
But not, is it too much?
At all.
I can't get over the crust. Professor, what do you think? What are you feeling? Tell me.
I like that. It's like more peppery, especially by the back of my tongue. It's like breakdancing on my tongue right now.
Is the texture the same?
Exactly the same. I love the texture and I also love that tingly. It's like in the back of my throat.
Yeah, it's slightly spicy. You feel a little bit of thing. By the way, this one has a little bit of Szechuan peppercorn, which gives you that little numb
Szechuan
sensation. And
peppercorn.
the spiciness comes from gochugaru.
I didn't get no gochugaru at all, but it's still a good burger.
I like this that you guys like it so much that you don't even want to try the actual thing because you can tell the difference.
Oh, you can really tell the difference, especially with that spicy one.
It's working very good. You ready for the last one?
I'm excited for all these burgers.
All right, let's go. Cheers.
Cheers. Wow, boy, I like this one a lot.
This reminds me of like a butter basting steak, like a little bit of garlic and thyme.
You can
Yeah,
really
dude, that'd
feel
be
that
so
essence
good.
of garlic and thyme is just on a whole nother level. I will say this, it doesn't taste like a dry aged steak, but it has its own unique flavor that is very difficult to explain. How do you explain that?
Delicious? I don't know, it's really good. I'm just getting a little full.
It's a lot of burgers, Pepezin, it seems like you like this one the best.
The main words that come to mind are like buttery, fatty, crispy, crackly. First of all, the textures here is not a texture you get on a burger, but it's a texture that I now want on every burger.
Couldn't agree more, yeah. With that being said, we have to kind of vote, everybody. And here's what I did. I used beef Wagyu talo on all of these burgers. Now, the differences between them is that the first one was just Wagyu talo. The second one was the spicy one that you kind of already know. And the last one was with thyme and garlic. Pepe, which one?
I'm gonna have to go with that last one, that thyme and garlic. That added so
That would
much
be my
flavor
call
and
too,
fattiness
man.
to the
I
burger.
am an absolute garlicophile.
Stick with the. I'm not a big fan of spice, but that was a perfect amount of spice.
garlic.
I couldn't agree more. That one is delicious. It tingles your mouth slightly. It's a little bit spicy and an overall incredible flavor that you should
Awesome way to
experience.
end it on. Awesome way to end it on. All right, fellows, ladies, gentlemen, that is going to be it for me today. Thank you oh so much for hanging out. Like I said, we are going to make some changes going into Friday. I no longer will be streaming to Kick or Twitch. I'm just over it. It's all bots and scammers and everything else over there, and no one else really comes in organically. So we're going to kind of leave it there, and we will be live YouTube side of things on Friday at 4 p.m. Expect a much longer stream on Fridays. We usually go anywhere from 2 to 4 hours on Fridays. Going to be a really, really good time. Maybe we'll have some extra people in. Maybe we'll do some other stuff. But it's going to be a fantastic time. Thank you guys so much for choosing to spend some time with me today. I truly, truly appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You're my motivation. You keep stream going. You truly, truly do. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I kind of looked through all the other carnivore creators. I didn't see anyone else live right now that we can go over and say hi to. But I will check again after that. I will try to be in some more streams on top of that, but it's going to be a busy, busy week. I will have a video going live here in about an hour and a half or so. Hope you guys see it, and we'll check in soon. Bye-bye. Friday at 4. We'll see you then.